All right, Jeff Zimmerman here with the legendary trainer Kenny Adams, going into the Hall of Fame, part of the International Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2024. Long overdue. How you doing, Coach?
Doing fine. Very happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've met you before. You're always great. I see how all of your ex-fighters gather around you. They just want to be in your presence. What is that like?
Well, it's a blessing because it's something that we've all worked toward all our lifetime, and especially during our boxing time also. And a lot of those kids grew up with me in the military, and we stepped to the next level.
Yeah, and you're going in with a great class. Diego Corrales, obviously, Michelle, his widow, Ricky Hatton, Jackie Callan, Michael Moore. How does it feel to go in with such a great class?
Oh, that's a great class. I started Diego Corrales. Did you know that?
No, no.
Yeah, I am his original trainer.
Wow.
Yes, I am. Diego Corrales, yes.
How good was Diego at his best?
Diego had great power, speed to go with it. Strong disciplinarian, good kid as a whole. We just had to learn some things that he had to pick up on and learn, and he did that. So yeah, he was definitely good people, man. Good people, and he could punch. He could punch. Had that long reach. Got good height. Really good. Yeah, Diego Corrales was one of the best.
Yeah, yeah, and I want to get into some of the fighters you worked with, but I want to talk about your journey to boxing because you came from a big family. You got into a little trouble, and out there as a kid, knocking guys out bigger than you. Talk about just growing up and then finding your way into boxing, into the Army.
Well, what really happened was I raised up in a club atmosphere. I was raised up in a club atmosphere, American Legion. My father owned the club, and so I went there and helped him out most of the time, cleaning up or whatever it needed to be. At the same time, that side of town we were on is the rough side of town. Being that way, you had a lot of toughies over there, so I got into a lot of fights over there, and it just helped me lean up to the next level of what my boxing would be,
Were you picked on, Coach, as a kid, and you just kind of had to stand up for yourself? Or how did things kind of start out there?
Yeah, I kind of was because my people had money. He owned a club. He owned the club called the American Legion, and they had a couple of homes, and they had money, and it was kind of one of those things like the highway, and you got money, and you think you're better than everybody else and stuff like that. You will get them, but one thing about it is okay because heck, I was kicking butt at the same time. I was fighting people and whooping them, and so it didn't really matter, about what I knew and what I didn't know, because I could take care of business, and I was going about like 35 or 40 miles down from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, where I was raised at, to Sykeston, Missouri, Charleston, Missouri, where a lot of guys would be boxing and fighting there. But I was going down there whooping all them guys up, So I was kind of blessed in a sense,
You were a born fighter, it sounds like.
Yeah, it seemed like I guess it did. Well, my aunt was very tough. She was lean and mean, and she didn't play. She didn't play none, and she carried a pistol. and did all those things like that, you know. And so, hey, she, she didn't play. She said, and she always told me, hey, don't run from none of them. If you have to, take some, pick it up, hit them with it, and do whatever you got to do, whatever it takes, son. So she would tell
Wow.
me that.
Did you ever see her use the pistol?
I'm sorry.
Did you ever see your aunt use the pistol?
Yeah, but she had it. She carried it with her all the time. My a great aunt and uncle, which is him and her, they owned a restaurant and a club, and so she would have the pistol with her every time. She carried the pistol with her all the time. She always did.
Wow. She was ahead of her time a little bit.
Yeah, Irma Burgess. She was something.
Yeah. Yeah. So what prompted joining the Army, Coach? Was it for discipline? Was it to try to have a better life? What made you go to the Army?
Well, be truthful with you, I had got a girl pregnant, and so I said I got to go get some money, make some money. So that's what I did. I went, joined up, and uh, took care of that kid. You know, the son. I took care of him, and I went on and did that. You know, so that was my main reason for going. You know, when somebody tells you I'm pregnant, you got that without some money. So there it is. That's what I did. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Not as many options
and I was
back
just out of
then.
high school. Also, you know,
You what? I'm sorry.
I was just out of high school.
Yeah. Wow. So you join the Army and you get on the boxing team and
Yes.
become a all Army champion and all that. What was that experience like?
Oh, that was a great experience. I got into basic at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, uh, and they had a box. They set up a boxing team there, and so I started working with them then at an early stage, and that came to be a good thing for me because I won the thing in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and I had switched and changed to become airborne, and so I went to airborne. I went to the airborne school. Then I got in. I became to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which is home of the 101st Airborne Division. So I got on that team, and that was great fighters on that team. Also, a guy named Johnny Joyner, the Ray Owens, Carlton Brooks, guys that were dynamite, you know. So and Thomas Bodine. But anyway, I got on that team, and it was a very explosive team. It was dynamite, and Robert Carr Moody, who was a Olympian back in 1964, as a matter of fact, he was on the team also. You know, so it was a lot of good people, and I got a lot of good work out of those guys. Coach Carr Moody was my weight class, and yeah, it was tough for me to handle him, but I work hard at it, but he got the best of me most of the time. But it was still a blessing because here was a guy that could fight and really could fight, and he's gonna make the next 1964 Olympic team. You know, so hey, there it is. So all that became it all became a part of me, and the team that I was on, everybody was very disciplined. They they were very tough. Uh, they would get after you about little things, and coaches were very stern. So uh, couldn't have been no better for me. I couldn't ask for anything better.
And you never went pro, Coach. You just
No, I
decided.
didn't. No,
Why not? Why not?
just did not have the desire. Just did not have a desire to be a. I just didn't desire to have a professional career. I thought about it a few times, but all in all, I think I want to stay amateur at the same time, and And at the same time, I wanted to teach youngsters too to move to the next level. That was another. I think that was one of the major reasons too, is I wanted to be a trainer for a lot of good fighters that were coming up, and I think that was one of the major reasons why I didn't turn professional. Is that I just didn't have the desire to do it,
Yeah.
and I did have the desire to work with amateurs though, and to me, I thought that was much more important, and so that's the level I went to.
Yeah. And you found your calling in the Army, became the coach,
Yes.
got your discipline style, right? Developed your coaching style.
Yes,
And then,
I learned my coaching style from some of the greatest, two of the greatest Olympian people and boxing trainers. One being Bernie Callahan. You may have heard of him. Uh, Pat Nappy, Carlton Brooks, Cheryl Morgan. These are guys that had great styles. Also, they were very much a disciplinarian, and you know that's really because some of the key factors involved in fighters. You got to be a disciplinarian in order to keep them on line. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And so you end up becoming the assistant coach on the legendary '84 team, which I think Pat Nappy was the head coach, right? The '84 team.
Yes, yes, the head coach. He was the head coach. Yes.
I mean, Pernell Whitaker, Meldrick Taylor, Evander Holyfield, Mark Breland, Frank Tate, Henry Tillman.
Yes.
I mean, talk about that experience and just being around those fighters at that time.
Well, I guess being around them at the same time, you know, here he is. I'm a young greenhorn in a sense, but I've got discipline, plus I got good skills. I did have good skills. That was one thing that I must say. I could teach people, and I could teach them very well, and I did so. And at the same time, although you learn from a guy like Pernell Whitaker, you learn from Mark Breland, you learn from Pernell Whitaker, you learn from all of them, but at the same time, you help mold that into what you have, and hey, man, there it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Did you know, you said you were kind of a young buck then yourself, but did you know these guys would become all-time greats, some of them?
I thought they would be. Yes, I really did. They're they they were all great amateurs, so that can't do nothing but to move them to the next level, which means that they got to be great professionals too. And they had great styles and everything. And Pernell Whitaker was the same way. You had Kennedy. I mean, you had so many different other different people. You had people on the second team like Frankie Lau and people like that were just great within their own selves, and they weren't considered top dogs, you know. So, but they still moved to the next level, became world champions and everything like that, you know. So, I'm just saying that's the way all these things are moved to that level, you know. It really is. Pernell Whitaker, you got Carlton Brooks, guy from Coffeyville, Kansas, had nothing but great styling. All these guys, it was just something to learn from them, and I picked up so much from them, and it all made me move to the next level. And even so, I learned also by going overseas. In the Army afforded me the opportunity to learn to go into Germany, Southaven, do all of the different countries and different world like atmospheres. Hey, it was nothing but a blessing, man. It's like you just learn, and it all it was just, and I picked it up real good because I've always had a great styling, always had great styling. Even when I was an amateur, I had a great style with rhythmic and everything involved in it. So all these things worked out pretty well for me. I thank God must have blessed me with this.
Yeah. And then you go on to become the 88 coach with a guy by the name of Roy Jones Jr., Big Daddy Riddick Bowe, Michael Carbajal. I mean, what a blessing to become the head coach in 88.
Yeah, I was I guess I got blessed again because they had so many people ahead of me in a sense that probably would have been on top of it. And I could see how things was happening, and I saw uh something that they didn't like it. But once again, my learning stages came from Long Grader, Pat Nappy, Carlton Brooks, Cheryl Dale Morgan, a lot of guys like that. And what I learned from them more than anything else was being a disciplinarian, also being a guy who knew how to teach. And it's very important to be a teacher. Teacher in boxing is super important. So those are the things that I learned up to be, and I just got blessed.
Yeah. Who was the best out of those two? Who was the best out of those two classes in 84 and 88? Who was the best fighter out of all of them at that time?
Kennedy, McKinney, Pernell Whitaker. But and also, oh man, what the heck is his name? I'm trying to get his name. Man, I can't get his name together right now. He was 132 pounds. Man. Oh, Meldrick Taylor.
Meldrick Taylor. What about Roy Jones?
Roy Jones was outstanding, but he wasn't quite up to the level of those guys.
Hmm. Not at that time, huh? Not as
Not
polished.
that time. No, at that time he was not. No, Roy was not up to that level at that time.
Yeah, I just interviewed Richard Steele. It was just the 34th year anniversary of Meldrick Taylor Chavez.
I couldn't hear you then. Somebody was background talking.
No,
What'd you say?
I just interviewed Richard Steele on the 34-year anniversary of Meldrick Taylor, Julio Cesar Chavez.
I didn't hear that.
Oh no, that's okay, Coach. I'll Richard Steele.
Yeah, I got bad hearing.
No, that's okay. I interviewed Richard Steele recently. It was the 34-year anniversary of Meldrick Taylor versus Chavez.
Okay.
So we talked about Meldrick in that fight against Chavez when Richard stopped it.
Okay. What did he have to say?
He stands by his decision to stop the fight. Meldrick, could not respond to him. And
yeah, okay. Well, I think in most cases, and I can believe this, Rich is pretty stern about what he's about, and if he did it, he did it because he thought he needed to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But your career though, Coach, 26 world champions, 34 Olympians, 56 fighters who became world champions. Diego, Freddie Norwood, Kennedy, McKinney, Frankie Lyles, you mentioned, Michael Nunn, Johnny Tapia, Corey Spinks, Edwin Valero.
One in a lifetime. Give me a Viagra, Coach, so I can get ready.
Really?
Yes. That's what he was saying to me sometimes.
How special was he? Because I covered a fight he did in Austin one year in Texas, and the guy was he was Manny Pacquiao before Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, he was dynamite. Hey man, there was nobody like him. He he worked very, very hard. He worked study, and he was very listened, and he listened because he wanted to learn so much. He wanted to pick up a lot of different things, and because his skill level wasn't really that great at first, but it became better as time went along. And he did a lot of that on his own, also, because he was just that type of person. Edwin Valero, hey man, he was dynamite.
Could he have been one of the best ever?
Yes, he could be. He has to be considered one of the best ever.
Even
Without a doubt.
even though he didn't get to fulfill his
He,
career.
he didn't get what was due him, but he deserved it because believe me, this guy could punch, had speed, he had power, and hey, he had it all.
Yeah, yeah. You don't hear him mentioned anymore.
Huh?
You don't hear about him anymore. Tragic.
No, it's
Tragic.
he went under. They just didn't have. I think, in a sense, when we kind of split. When we did split, it wasn't anything that we did wrong, or anything he did wrong.
Yeah.
It's just that just moving, you move to the next level, and once you move to the next level, you know how it is.
Yeah.
It's all forgotten about now, and so hey, it ain't gonna happen. So that's unfortunate. That's what happened to him. So Edwin had everything left-handed. He had speed. He had power. He had big guts, nuts, all that. He had everything. He had all it took. And as you see, he won most of his fights with a knockout.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was amazing. He was amazing.
Yeah, he was.
Left-handed,
He was
right?
amazing.
Southpaw.
Huh?
He was a southpaw.
Yes, southpaw. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yes. Sure.
You had a
Yeah.
chance to work with Floyd Mayweather, but it didn't work out. He didn't want to, I guess, go by your way of your discipline, your rules. But what a fight that if Floyd and Valero would have gotten together.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, woo. Edwin Valero and him, he's left-handed too. I think we might have made a lot of difference with Floyd. Huh?
You think Edwin beat?
Well, not everybody's able to handle it. He's left-handed,
Yeah. So you
So
think
but I
Floyd?
don't know. It could have been very different because Floyd is very smart. He's very articulate in the boxing game and the boxing world. I had the opportunity to train him too at one time.
Right.
When I
Right.
say I had the opportunity to train him, I was supposed to train him once, but I had to explain to him that Floyd is my way or the highway. I don't get dictated to and how and what, and that wasn't going to make it. And he kind of knew that from the beginning, and so the split was made then,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you think Valero would have beaten Pretty Boy Floyd, or Floyd would have beaten Valero?
Underneath it all, believe me, I think Valero would have beaten him because of his style. His style makes fights, and he was a stylist, and he was powerful, left-handed. Yeah, I think he would have beaten.
Wow.
It would have been tough though. I know it's been super tough, but he had speed, he had power, he was left-handed, and I think it would have made a difference.
What about Manny Pacquiao? What would that fight have looked like?
I think that I don't think that Manny could have moved to that level. I don't think he would have. I don't really personally don't think, although he was tough and had his own styling and everything. But Edwin was just he was actually Edwin was too much for any of them guys. Really, I'll tell you that he would have been too much for any of them guys. Really and truly. And he was left-handed too. Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah, yeah. Who's the best fighter you've ever seen, Coach?
Edwin Valero.
All-time great.
And I'm not trying to be president, but then you got a close second, Kennedy McKinney.
Okay. Okay. So the two best you ever worked with,
Huh?
the two best you ever worked with, Valero and Kennedy McKinney.
Yes.
Now we mentioned Diego Corrales at the top. He's going into the Hall of Fame with you. Were you surprised how easily Floyd beat him when they were both undefeated and when he knocked him down about 6 or 7 times?
Well, I think a lot of it had to do. Well, I don't like to talk about other things and styles and things, but as you know, and you know this for a fact, styles do make fights, and when they do make fights, it makes a big difference in the way that the fight really gonna go. And I think that level wasn't ready it wasn't ready. But Floyd was very smart, very slick, moving to the next level. So yeah, you could look for that that was gonna happen. You look to see that was gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll wrap it up here, Coach, in a minute. If there's one fighter fighting today that you would like to work with, who would it be?
Let me think. I saw somebody one day, but I can't remember. I just can't remember.
Bud Crawford? Was it Bud Crawford?
Damn, you brought it off my mind. Well, I worked with Crawford. Did you know? You didn't know that?
No.
I did work with him. Oh yeah. Early on, I went to his hometown and worked with him. I trained him. His beginning was with me. You didn't know that, huh?
No.
So that was off the list.
Hey, Coach.
Oh,
Coach,
no.
I can't. There you are.
Crawford, I started Crawford. I'm the one that started him. He was not started by the other people. No, certainly that. And he was hey, I talk about a fighter. There's one right there. There is a fighter right there.
Could Crawford fight in any air? Is he that kind of fighter?
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Yeah.
Because he has the styling, right hand and left hand. He can take it both ways. Yes. Huh?
Yeah, no, hell of a fighter. What if he ever got a shot at Canelo? Could he beat Canelo?
That's gonna be a tough one. That's gonna be a tough one. It depends on, once again, as styles make fights, also training sets up for fights too. Whether or not that will only be my learning point is he gonna have the right thing in preparation? Is his preparation gonna be right? That's gonna be the major thing. If his preparation is right, Crawford could win. Yes, he could win.
Yeah. Well, let's end it with some predictions, Coach. We got some big fights. Got some big fights coming up. Devin Haney from your backyard, Vegas, and Ryan Garcia. Who do you like in that fight?
Ryan Garcia and Kevin Haney. I like Kevin Haney.
You like Devin?
I like Kevin.
Why?
Kevin has great style.
Devin? Yeah. Devin Haney?
Yes.
So he beats.
For the course, once again, it depends on, a lot of times who trains who makes a big difference sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What about, go ahead.
No, it's getting guys to move to the next level. Sometimes styles make fights. Without a doubt. That's the way it works.
What about Usyk Fury, the heavyweights?
I'm not that familiar with them.
Okay.
But Fury and who?
Usyk.
Huh?
Usyk. Usyk.
Actually, I don't know Usyk that
Okay.
well. I know Furry though. I know him. I've been
Yeah.
around. I've been around the area with him. Yeah, it's a possibility that Furry might be able to pull the chain.
And what about Better Biev and Bivol?
Butterbean and who?
Better Biev and Bivol.
I didn't get the last name. Is it
Bivol,
Bivol?
Dmitry Bivol.
I don't even know him. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you something, Coach, and we'll wrap up here. I was with Oscar De La Hoya yesterday, gold medalist, Olympian. I was with
Yes.
Andre Ward a few weeks back, another gold medalist, Olympian, and both recognize that the USA Olympic boxing team is just not what it was. You know, we talked a little bit about it. You know, Oscar, you know, alluded to the Europeans, you know, just might be tougher, you know, tougher fighters. You come from an old school, tough Army discipline. What is the Olympic boxing team for the USA? What are we missing that we're not bringing home more medals and gold medals?
Well, I think a lot of it. You just said it. You just said it. You just said it. Discipline, number one. Moving to the next level, number two. And discipline is very, very important, and you got to have that. Being at a appointed place at a appointed time, make sure he's doing what they're supposed to do. And that, if that doesn't happen, it ain't gonna happen. It just is. It's just a shame. But I've noticed that in the last few Olympics and stuff, though, they have not lived up to the bar that they had in the past. It's just not there. But of course, once again, I just ain't gonna blame it on the fighters alone. We gotta get some damn coaches up in here. What the hell's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? They're the problem.
Andre Ward was the last gold medalist for the USA 2004.
Yeah, he was one of my guys.
How it really upsets you though.
Huh?
It really upsets you that we're not better.
Yeah, well, you know what it amounts to? Discipline is very important. People can't not understand that. You've got to have discipline. You've got to be at appointed places at appointed times and all these different things. You've got to move to the next level. I mean, guys just don't know, and they're just not at the learning level. I hate to say that, but they're just not there. And you had to put your whole in boxing. When I say that, I'm talking about you got to give up everything for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You got to give up everything at the same time. You got to make sure people moving to the next level and that they're running properly. Strength and conditioning is working up and things of that nature. I don't even know if they're doing strength and conditioning anymore. Are they? I don't know that they are. You know, and that's very important. Well, that's for explosiveness. And these are things that you got to have to move to the next level. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame when listening to you, listening to Andre and Oscar, that, you know, all three of you have been, you know, a part of such Olympic, you guys have been around Olympic glory, and we just don't do better. It's too bad.
Yeah, it was a shame. I'm hoping they ask me, and I hope that they put this out so people can get it. But I'm hoping that they ask me to try to get some advice or be an advisor or some way along the line. I would like very much to do that, because there's no reason that the United States of America does not beat any and everybody in the world, period.
Yeah.
No way it should not happen.
Well, let's end on a positive, Coach. You're going into the Hall of Fame, International Boxing Hall of Fame, class of 2024. I know
love
it's a big honor for you, hugely deserved, long overdue, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been around some legends. You're a legend yourself, and you know, I was really honored to do this interview. So thank you.
Thank you very much for giving an interview. And I'd like to thank everyone that had anything to do with me moving into the next level, into the Hall of Fame. I do appreciate it, and it's a great honor. Definitely a great honor. Thank you. May God bless you, and take care.
Kenny Adams, Hall of Famer. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.